So now we've got agenda item number 14. Mr. Ridd, you are talking to this. And this is about the Great Lake Walkway Trail signage. Yeah, I'll just give it a minute while I clear the room if you like. Yep, that's fine.
Good decision.
As long as we come up with something.
Yeah, that's to say, it'd be nice to have seen it already what we
Not
need,
on a
but
bloody tree, not on a plaque.
yeah, it'd be nice.
It's high up.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have seen something already in
We
place.
can vote on what we
Oh, exactly.
You know, the resolution should have been plain
They
and
come
clear and
out better
nice.
than the street.
That's why I said others.
They will. They'll come out better than the street. They'll come out better than the street. Calvin's got no audience now. No audience now, Cal.
Okay, straight after agenda item. Mr. Ridd, are you supporting Mr. Brown with the rowing club agenda item?
Yeah, I'm afraid we're taking half the agenda, so
Calvin.
Alison will just jump up in a minute. So if
Well,
we
I'm just wondering, should we go to there first, or do you want to do the trail walk?
do the trail first,
Okay.
because Calvin's
So
got...
we'll just give it a minute. Yeah.
He's lost his audience.
Viola, could you just shut the door up?
Okay.
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 Agenda item number 14, which is the Great Lake Walkway Trail signage.
So I've put an agenda item on which gives you a bit of background to this item, but I'm going to let Kelvin, most of you all know Kelvin? Okay. Kelvin is a business owner on Hiahia Street, our wonderfully new developed Hiahia Street, who approached us about what I think is a really great idea, which is sat in front of you, and I'll just let perhaps Kelvin just talk you through it, because he's got a better handle on it than me. So we'll go through that, Kelvin.
Which is your business, Kelvin?
Addiction.
Addiction, yeah. Okay. Cool. Welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship and your councillors. This idea initiated a little while back. When I go overseas or any big cities throughout the world, you know, you go to a place and you want to have a run or see the city itself, and a lot of places now they're of course everyone's a bit more active than they used to be, and there's always an allocated zone for trails and distance that you can go and do something safe and run with everybody else in the community, because you go to places and some of the times you don't know the areas you're going to run, or you know where you should divert to, and you want to stay within a certain boundary. The other thing that I found running those sort of courses, that they actually take you into areas that you wouldn't normally just put yourself into, you know, areas that of interest that, you know, just through sheer laziness or just of not knowing that you stay direct within the centre with this, I hope, also creates that sort of, gets them out in the urban structure of the town, which puts them out to whare and bits and pieces. This is just for this trail alone itself, but that's what I found, where other bits and pieces that you go and actually get to see a bigger area of the place you're visiting. So that's where that comes from, and this is the start of a big picture, I hope. My idea is this is stage one of 2 or 3 items around the town. We're an active community. We always have a lot of events on, a lot of people come here. So we can offer them, you know, through a website, whether it being Great Lake Taupo's website or White Taupo or somebody like that. They can auto utilise the structure which we're going to set up. So stage one is this Lake Taupo Trail. It's utilising what they use the half marathon course, of course, at the moment, but it's a safe running zone for people to train. They come here, they can stay in 2 Mile Bay, they can access a point which is marked, you know, whether they join the 4 mile part, 4k part or 5k part, and they want to go and run 5k's, they run to the next market down and come back and return trip. They've got some idea, you know, someone comes to town, where can I run from? I can go down to the fish, you can go and do 10k's if you want to, go back. It's self-funded, because I don't want to put any more onus on the council for expenditure and bits and pieces. The only part I see that we do need help with, of course, is with your internal officers to help me with permits of placements, and if there is any issues with landowners or that's all I sort of acquire, and then of course just the maintenance program on these items once they're installed. But that's the stickers themselves that are put on the model you got here in front of you that's a steel post. It sticks out 1200 millimeters out of the ground. It's a steel post. It will be in concrete. It's got a sticker outside platform which lasts up to 4 or 5 years. So there's a revolving cost of 4 or 5 years, which you can reapproach. We can reapproach the sponsors for each post to redo that. They've got eligibility of 4 years on that post because they're putting the money in towards the community, of course. And it's also helps businesses get involved within the community. It's their way of putting something back into something that they love. That's, as you see, this one here, I've already got 2 major sponsors which will cover the cost of these ones, which is Smith Sport Shoes, which is very interested, and they wanted to do something like this themselves for a long time. And Addiction Streetwear on Huhu Street also, it's a passion from the business owners to put something back, and this is the way we can see it for the greater community, really.
Okay, oh, well, that's fantastic. They look fantastic. Just from my point of view, just a couple of questions. What are they going to cost per each one?
Now we're putting them in the ground because I was going to use your internal infrastructure, but we can, with the cost of a bag of cement and bits and pieces, about 300 plus GST per unit.
Cheaper than clips.
Yeah.
I wonder if the councillors support it. Surely, under our wayfinding budget, we can produce the expertise that's needed, etc., for landowners, permits, or whatever, engineering.
Yeah. We'll deal with that. We'll work together and make sure it happens. But today is primarily, do you agree with the project?
Councillor Williams?
Yes, thanks, Calvin. Thanks, John. I think it's a brilliant concept, so totally. And also, this may or may not be appropriate, but as a suggestion. But under the survey conducted by the Cycling Summit, which Councillor Craig was very much spearheading, there was a really good suggestion. I think it came from Trevor, the mountain biker Trevor.
Spark.
That we look at, and I don't know how this would work with your concept, but it would seem to marry up, from an initial consideration, barcodes so that each rider or walker, or cyclist or walker, could have a little card.
It's on there.
And they'll swipe it.
It's on it.
Oh, it's on it?
Yeah.
It's on it.
Oh, we've got at the
Keith,
moment.
could you turn it round, please? Could you just swivel it round, please, Councillor Williams? You put your iPhone on it and you get all the details.
Oh no, this is a different concept, but a similar, yes, but a similar concept, but for a different outcome. The outcome is that it would help us as a region monitor the usage, but more so than that. For instance, if Addiction is a sponsor, you would be able to get some information with regards to how effective your sponsorship is, or you could be giving a spot prize to every 100th person or 1000th person who swiped. There's a whole range of applications that can go with that, and I thought that Trevor, he had some more detail on it, but I thought it was an excellent suggestion.
That could be a good idea to put into the melting pot. Councillor Henderson's next, please.
First thing, great initiative, and obviously a lot of time's gone into it of your own, and I imagine other people by the look of it, so you should be thanked for that, because it's clearly got quite a significant community benefit if it was to go ahead. A couple of questions, I might have missed it. How many of them are there?
Well, on this trail here, there's 10.
10, yeah.
That's the Lions Walker.
Yeah.
And just a couple of other quick questions to clarify. $300 for a hole in a bag of cement, is that Aaron?
Oh, and the
pole,
everything, yeah.
Completed jobs,
Yeah,
$300.
yeah. That's not including all the time that's been put into it, of course. It's just the end cost of the product.
So what are you seeking from council? Support to put them in
Support
the
to
ground?
put them in, yeah,
Basically.
for the ideas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just one last quick thing to suggestion. If we're putting money into this as a council, I'd be really pleased to see us putting our web address on there for either the events or the destination marketing, because we spend a lot of, is it hiding away?
One of the ideas is we
Yeah.
Call these things.
QR codes.
You just put your iPhone up to it, yeah.
Use this
Right,
this
right.
technology, which will then flick you to a website.
The same as the barcode system, similar to what.
Yeah. All your
Yeah.
smartphones now have the app for it, and yeah, a lot of businesses are
But
using it.
as I understand this, you're only looking here for our support today, and I tell you what, I can't see people not supporting, but it's $300 each. But as more and more sponsors come on, because it's obviously got a business name on it, M21 Meats or somebody, as more and more, there's a lot more trails that could be done on all around the district, isn't there? It's only,
Yeah.
It's only the start of something, isn't it?
Exactly. It's like there's another trail that a lot of locals use, is the Hooker Loop.
Yeah.
It goes from the Spa Park, you go down to Hooker Falls, you go back up beside Hooker Lodge,
Yeah.
up through the
We know
domain
that, right?
area.
I've just got 3 councillors,
Right.
4. Councillor Minster, Councillor Craik, Councillor Downard, Councillor Hickling.
So, Calvin, brilliant. Once again, I'd like to support you a bit like me, Rick. My concern, obviously, then is who controls the advertising if the council sort of did it and they come to us and, you know, you'd rather have it in your basket, just so we've got an idea on that,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. I take control of the marketing side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And Councillor Craik?
Galvin, I think we all applaud the idea. You can tell by the number of hands that are up and the fact that we are a walking and cycling destination. Just a couple of things. Obviously, the distances, that 19, where does that refer to on this one, if you put this example?
It'll be the 9.5K mark, which is the other side of the paddocks, where you get into, it's actually dockland.
Dockland,
Yeah.
well, yeah, obviously
Fine,
that's
not bad.
got to be changeable, whatever the word is, adaptable, because at the moment we've been planning a long time for a new track to go all the way to 5 Mile Bay, and it's
Yeah.
in the moment, it's the funding's there, the planning's at Opus, and it could not be might not be in a straight line. It's going to wiggle all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alison,
Yeah.
Alison could be.
So Councillor Craik, you're...
Yeah, what I'm saying is that can the numbers at the top be adapted to any changes that we have in the...
The answer's yes, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
must
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, because you are
It is.
aware of the fact that we're growing all the time in
Yeah,
cycle
yeah,
trails
exactly,
and
yeah.
walking trails, yeah.
Yeah. We can always,
But well done,
accommodate
this
that.
is a fantastic idea.
Councillor Downard?
Might be something small, and I know it might be the late Taupo Trail, but is there any thought of putting great
Yeah, I knew that.
trail, just to
Yeah.
carry on with the theme of the branding and the branding of
Yeah.
Taupo?
The
the
only thing I was going to do that is, but there's a bike trail called the Great Lake Trail.
Oh,
Yeah,
And and then if I try and change from a trail to walk or run or make it Pacific, it takes away, it makes it very Pacific. That's why it's called a trail. So within that I try to incorporate the great, but just it objects to mountain bike trails that we've got going around the Western
it's on
Bays.
the logo.
Councillor Hickling?
Yeah, how does perhaps another business apply for, or how do other people get the business onto the...
Especially the opposition.
Well, yeah, of course this has been the first one, and it was because of the cost. It's quite
Chairman.
minute, really, in the big budget of things. It sold out really fast, but the other next option I'll have to.
You obviously only give Chris and yourself the opportunity to advertise.
Yeah, well, I instigate, and I just mentioned to Chris to sell one post, and he said, well, how much? And he said, well, I'll just take half. I know it's probably not a good democracy. Yeah, this is
Is that all of them on that in terms of that sponsorship?
Yeah.
Is that just one? Or is
one. Yeah.
So the others would be open to others?
No, not on this. This one's sort of closed for that. But in the future, what we'll do is we can advertise point of interest, and maybe break them down to singularly position. But then it also becomes people want to be on the 4K mark because it's the boat entrance into the lake. You see, and then they don't want to take number 5 because it's in the middle of the bush somewhere.
But
So
at
it
the
becomes.
moment, I assume your proposal is to have all 10 with your and Chris's Smith's shoes on.
Alternate, yeah.
Alternate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no opportunity for other businesses to
Yeah.
take advantage of the lakefront, which is a high-profile
Well,
walkway.
in fairness to Councillor Hickling, they've come with the idea, the
Oh, no,
opportunity's
no,
been
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
opportunity's
clarifying.
been there as long as
Yeah.
the Great Lake, can I speak?
Yeah.
The opportunity's been there as long as the Lions Walk has been there.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually innovative, and I know where you're
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see Tangle on them or something, I know, but
But the
yeah.
official name is the Great Lake Walkway.
Walkway, yeah.
That's the official name of the track from the yacht club through to Wharawaka Point.
And it's also known as a Lions Walk too, which is
Oh,
they
there's
funded
only-
400
there's
metres.
only- There's about...
Yeah, 400 metres or something in there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it's only
Yeah.
a pretty small thing, but I know where you're coming from, Councillor Heckling, but if there was another business in town wanted to do it, as just been pointed out, they could go and attack the trail that comes off and goes down and across the bridge into past Hooker Falls there. All that could be done with this. All the district down this area has got trails. You've just opened up the Tongariro one.
Your Worship, all I'm trying to inquire is, because it is a neat idea, it's a great idea, but I wouldn't like to see all that, because there's a lot of cycleways, it could expand, and personally myself, I'm just asking whether there's opportunities for other businesses to be able to go on other different...
Oh yes,
if it
definitely.
explodes, and
Definitely.
it will.
Yes.
It will
Yeah, we're hoping to
explode.
work with organisations like the mountain bike trails and bits and pieces to get a uniform standard going around so we can all utilise as well. Hopefully, yeah, we'll have 100 of these things around town, you know what I mean? And different trails.
Price will go up.
In accepting this,
Price will
I
go
wouldn't
up.
like to see, to give you the sole and Smith's, the sole right of advertising right through all the tracks and
No.
right over. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, we would like to. We will go through the process, and we can use, say, Town Centre Taupo to put it out there to make the initiative to, and other internal businesses within the community who want to be involved.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I like that idea of involving Town Centre Taupo. I realise you've had the dream, you've had the vision, and that should be rewarded. I've always wanted to reward people with passion and vision, but as Councillor Heckling says, you know, we can't just have the whole area obliterated by two sponsors.
Yes.
I mean, for $300, they're a pretty good advertising medium for any sort of business, replete or somebody or something. So it would really be good that if it moves any further from here, that it is controlled by someone like Town Centre Taupo. Maybe it's even tendered or something, I'm not sure. But Councillor Henderson had his hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to hark on one of the points I was making before. But it's great that we've got this smartphone scanning thing. That's a really good initiative. But research will indicate that websites get traffic a lot because of how you market them offline. And one thing I think we do as a council very poorly, often because it's just forgotten, I think, because it's easy enough to do, is actually putting those web addresses out there. Because this is all about events and tourism, right? So part of the benefit we'd hope to kick was a kickback for the council, I would hope, especially considering we spent $250,000 on our destination marketing website, is to use things like this and other things to push people to that website. And the smartphone thing will work for people, but if you get the address into their heads, they do go visit it. So I think you have to cover both. That was the only point I was going to make about it. The second thing is, yeah, I'd love to see it happen in other places, and it would be suitable, this type of thing, for the river trail down here. And I'm quite happy to pay for the first one and put in the ground down here.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. The only thing that the big part of using the QR codes was clutter.
Yep.
You can overdo a sign
Yep.
and have too much information.
Yep.
It was the easiest form that I could see that would direct people to a site, and we can also have the Taupo District Council lead to that as well. You know
I don't
what I
think
mean?
it needs to be big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a question of, do you put it on big enough so it can be seen at a distance, or do you put it on so it can be seen when someone stops?
Actually,
Probably when
yeah.
it stops, yeah.
It's got the council one on there anyway.
Or under it, yeah.
Yeah, you could easily add it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Councillor Mincher?
I move the resolutions, please.
Oh, okay, right, I'll accept his movement, just let me get there. Look, this resolution says that you guys be thanked and we received your presentation, which we've done, and we do sincerely thank you. The project, the second part of the resolution says that the project is supported with the final design of the marketplace being approved by council officers. Now, the most senior council officer of the CEO, Mr. Williams, has just pointed out, underneath Great Lake Taupo, where it says Taupo District Council, just put our web address there, www.taupo.com. So these guys are going to approve the final design. We have a mover with Councillor Mincher over here to the suggested resolution. Is there a seconder to that? Councillor Johnson. So you all understand what that resolution is saying. Basically, you could see these pop up at any time after council staff have done the final approval. Okay? So we'll check this. Councillor Downer.
Sorry, Mayor, I'm just querying just the time, like you said, 5 years. Is that kind of a long time though, you know, on Prime Lakefront? I know it's a great idea and it was your idea, Kelvin, you know, with the sponsors, you know, because especially that one, the Lions Walk is, you know, I mean,
Hundreds of
I think it's a great idea. Old people, you know, don't realise, oh, that's how far it's going to be to go for a walk and back. But I'm just, you know, I agree with Councillor Hickling that 5 years is a long time to have a prime position. You know, would it be better to bring it down to 2 or 3 years? So there's the opportunity then through Town Centre Taupo to put it out to tender for another business.
For someone else to get the opportunity.
Which could, you know, increase your, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's your idea. It gives the opportunity in there because 5 years is a long time for prime piece.
I think you'll find 3 years is a time, because I think what you're going to find at the end of 3 years, if I'm not wrong, they're going to need refreshing and refurbishing.
Yeah.
Graffiti, the sun beating down on them, probably something like Councillor Downer is saying,
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense, because you get a new sponsor or you do it again,
Yeah.
but it gets refurbished at the same time.
What was the, sorry, Kelvin, sorry.
Yeah,
Mr.
where you
Chair,
go?
what was the timeline did you give to your sponsors, yourself and there, was it?
I was working on the UV before they start to break down or fade to look horrible. You don't want them looking horrible. It was 4 years.
Yeah, I still feel as though that's probably a little bit too long.
Yeah, well, no point taking it. It's come to the
Yeah.
floor, and I've got Councillor Henderson hand up.
Yeah, I think it's an important point that's been raised. I mean, I'd just suggest 3 would fit in with council's timing, because each time another expansion on this is considered, it'll have to come back to council, won't it? So you'll probably be doing that in sort of 3-year cycles, I would imagine, in terms of renewal, wouldn't you? So that just might fit, but I think it's something that needs defining.
Is there any light at the end of the tunnel of something like, I'm a great believer, and we've done this whilst we've been elected members, that we get the right people to do the right job. Why don't we suggest in a resolution that it should be 3-year periods, but why don't we hand this project over to Town Centre Taupo?
That's Town
Yeah, yeah.
Centre is not really, it's outside the zone straight away.
But the Town Centre Taupo are retailers in the Town Centre Taupo. These two guys have got this one. 3 years' time, maybe they tender it back out, but they've got to be Town Centre Taupo in that zone, whatever it's called. I'm just trying to find a way of keeping council out of it, because we don't do that good a job of this sort of thing sometimes.
I think through the chair we administer the Lakeshore Reserves, and this is a very similar issue to the leases on the Lakeshore Reserves, because we allow individual businesses to lease certain portions of our reserve, and I think this is a similar type of issue. I would suggest that the resolution may contain something to the fact that staff could go away and consider a contractual arrangement with regards to these things, and then perhaps bring that contractual arrangement to you for final approval.
George, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Hang on, please. Councillor Manhattan. You're not Councillor. Mr. Manhattan, sorry, sir.
The only question I've got is who's going to own them?
Well, for depreciation purposes, well, we didn't pay for them, so we can't.
Well, we often have items that are vested in council.
Well, you're not vesting these, you'd own them, wouldn't you?
Again, through the chair, I think that's one of the
Yeah,
issues of
the council
contractual
take
arrangement
ownership of them once they're placed into the ground.
Okay, so that's another thing that needs to come
Yeah.
under the contractual arrangement, because we don't want the
Contractual,
depreciation
yeah.
or the maintenance of it. Ownership must stay with who paid for it.
Yeah.
Just then, Rick, through yourself, then maybe changing the words that are supported and the final design and contractual arrangement is approved by council officers. Some words to that effect.
Take it as minutes today.
That's fair enough. I would suggest that we bring that back for your information prior to us proceeding with any particular project. And once we've got the contractual side nailed down, we shouldn't be it shouldn't be months away, but we'll need to do that.
It would be nice to see them done, but is prior to January feasible with this?
To be honest, I would sort of like, I'd like to get them in the ground before December, actually, before Christmas.
So it is feasible, but
Yeah.
but if you have to come back to us, Mr.
Yeah.
We'll-
CEO, that's another month lost, because that's November meeting.
We'll aim for the December meeting at the very
December.
latest, but we'll try for the November meeting.
To get it approved, but is that going to hold you up? Because that's a month away before we even give approval.
That's still feasible, yeah, we can do it.
Time.
Why can't we
Surely-
just delegate council officers to fix the contractual arrangements?
I'm going to say, I look at it similar to the advertising around down Delaney Park, there's an agreement there. and the owners have to refurbish and do things, and that's exactly the same as that.
But do you think it's a management issue or?
No, I think it's a management issue, personally.
So let's put this back
We've
in management's hands.
approved the concept of the design.
That's what we're approving.
Yeah.
You guys tidy up the nuts and bolts. Right.
Happy with that.
So it's management.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Is that
happy
right?
with that. I was just going to suggest that maybe the draft contract could be circulated to councillors so they can have a look at it before it's finalised.
Or you probably have to
Without it being brought
No,
back
you
to
probably
full
have to. No, I think it stays with management. You guys happy with management?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Right,
happy with
cool.
it.
Okay, minute that please, and then, so that was a resolution, I lost track of who, someone moved it?
I moved it.
And was seconded by Councillor Johnson. All those in favour? Aye. Carried. Thank you very much.
Well done, Kevin.
A big thank you very much from everybody.
Thank
I
you,
think
Your
it
Worship,
looked fantastic. Just one question before we go. Does each one change colour, like that's black and orange? Does the next
Yeah,
one
on the
be
waterfront.
black and
it's
yellow
gonna-
or something?
Yeah, going to use the macron. As you can, there's further pictures.
Oh,
through
use
there.
your macron colours?
Yeah, use macron colours on the lake, and if just for example, the hooker loop would be green in the macron greens, and then if you went down to Arataki, it would be in the blue, just following water. Just do that sort of
Okay,
thing.
thank you. Thank you very much.